Welcome back to the OurSF Hour. I'm Splash, or Ryan, whatever you want to call me. We're joined by Raj, per usual. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. About to have some fun this weekend, go out and about after the show. But always good to talk Niner football. Some news, a little bit of news here and there, and some rumors out there we can talk about today. But the big
Absolutely.
news really is Levi Stadium full capacity this season. That's huge. So
Yeah, I love to see that. The country's opening back up. I'm going to a Braves game tomorrow. It'll be full capacity there, so that's exciting. You love to see it, and I got your breaking news tab here. I would be excited. Granted, Baltimore and San Francisco don't happen to play this year, but it'd be pretty cool while I'm going to college in Arizona. It'd be pretty cool to go to a Niners Ravens game there in Santa Clara.
or go see Cardinals game out there, man.
Yeah, that works too.
That's gonna be a fun matchup. Arizona, a good young team on the right. NFC West battle, the Niners.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think all the fans, for the most part, most fans are pretty excited that fans are back. The players are. They're all sharing different posts about breaking news. They've shared a few different pages,
Right.
Posts like this. And you could just tell the sense of, man, they are so excited. Debo, he put on his story like, finally, family, we are back.
Yes, sir.
You could just see like it made a difference of not having the fans. And when I spoke to some of the players, they all said the same thing. They said we missed the energy, we missed the vibe. Like the Niners haven't had fans in the stadium since the 2019 NFC Championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had to play in Arizona last year. Like
Yep.
It's going to be big for the Niners. I know it's going to be big for all the teams in sports, but I think for the Niners, man, like we had to go to another team and play in their state. That was just bad. That's just bad.
Yeah.
I think this is huge for us. And I'm going to be at the home opener. I know that. I'm going to be there.
Ooh,
So
I bet that's expensive.
It's going to be expensive, but it's worth it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, the first game since the 2019 NFC Championship when we played the Packers,
Mm-hmm.
and we're playing the Packers on that game. So
yes, sir.
I kind of feel like they set it up on purpose because there's going to be a lot of good storylines. Nick Foles is coming back. Aaron Rodgers, he was rumored to come to the Niners this offseason. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Oh man, I would love to go to a home opener for like one of these cities. Like the Ravens play week 1 at Las Vegas, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that'd be an awesome game to go to. Yeah. But oh yeah, guess what? It's the second most expensive game on the docket.
I imagine these tickets this season. That's the one thing this year. Like I've been looking at the prices.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have inflated the prices because I think last season they missed out on all those ticket sales, so they have to make that revenue back up. And it's a pretty penny, but it's gonna be a fun time, and hopefully we walk away with the win. Because if you spend all that money and your team loses, it's not gonna be as fun of an experience.
I went to the famous Tyler Boyd game. 20 degrees. I went in shorts. Froze for 3 hours, and then Tyler Boyd catches the touchdown, and I just,
oh man!
Like at a certain point, I was so sad I didn't even notice I was cold, and it's like 15 friggin' degrees. It's like just so. I've never heard any place be so quiet. Like I'm in my room by myself, and it was more silent in Baltimore that night, and I just.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, that was.
I can't imagine. I've been in some really good games.
The worst.
I've been to some bad games, not just Niner games, but in general. I remember going to the NBA Finals when the Warriors made it a couple years back to NBA Finals against the Raptors.
Okay.
I was at the game where Clay, got the injury and stuff. That was a bad game for the Warriors. You could just tell because their emotions were like super high. Warriors were coming down. They were getting the game. They were winning. And then Clay goes down, and everybody's just like, and then of course Toronto leaves the game with the dub, and it was just like, oh man, the fans were not happy exiting that.
Absolutely. Man, I've only been to 2 NBA games. By the time I was able to like travel and have at least some spending money to go to these games, the Cavs sucked. So they go to 4 friggin' finals in a row, and I don't get to go to any even playoff games, even though they played in Atlanta in one Eastern Conference final. Didn't get to go to those games.
Wow.
So that was a bummer. But go Cavs, even though they suck.
Yeah, every team goes through it. The Niners went through it, and now
absolutely
they're coming back full force. And like I said, that's why I think this is so exciting to have the fans coming back in the stadium, bearing any setbacks. So far the state of California, for those that don't know, they're pretty much opening them back up to normal capacity. no masks, no social distancing as long as you're vaccinated. And,
right.
Certain places will have their rules and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
getting back to normal, June 15th, that's when everything goes back. Schools are coming back this season. So it's
nice.
Kind of crazy. It's a little scary because of
Yeah.
what happened last year. But, I mean, I'm with it, man. I've been working in the hospital. For me, I've been out and about and doing my thing. So I'm just ready for the rest of the world to catch up. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have so the Braves, I think the Braves Stadium, you don't have to wear a mask, which is kind of scary that you can fake your vaccination card. I usually have it right here, but you can fake it. And it's like, I trust myself. Like, I know I've been vaccinated and I guess I wouldn't need a mask in this case, but I don't trust other people sometimes. But that's beside the point. We have some big news that involves the 49ers. When you go to that game week 3, you might see a certain number 11. How do you feel about watching Julio Jones in person on your favorite team?
My God. So this is the big speculation. And, of course, we wanted to talk about this today. This morning, the reports are he wants to play for the Patriots. They've had internal discussions with the New England Patriots. But the speculation prior to today is there's several teams looking, if he's available, that might be able to get him, which would be Baltimore, New England, the Colts, I believe the Raiders, the Broncos, the Cardinals, Titans, and Niners. There's quite a bit of teams. Of course, they'd want his services. I would absolutely go crazy for Julio Jones. And it's just like Joe Staley says in this tweet that Kyle knows how to use him. Of course, he knows how to use him well. He's played on his team. When he was the offensive coordinator for Atlanta, he had 2 of his best seasons. I mean, I know he's 32. He's not what he was when Kyle was there, but he's still a great receiver. He had 1 season last year that was marred by injuries.
He still had 960 yards or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Prior to that, he was probably top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He's been one of the best receivers I've seen over the last decade. Great player. Definitely, like I say, he's not what he was 5 years ago, but he's still great. He would take double teams, command some double teams just because of his name, take pressure off of Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. He'd be fun. He's a great veteran.
Yeah, absolutely.
You add him to this team. And that's a Super Bowl offense. We already have a Super Bowl team on paper, I feel. If everybody stays healthy, this just would be...
Assuming you start Trey Lance.
Yeah, and then it doesn't matter if you start Jimmy or Trey. You get this guy, that offense is going to be scary. And then if you do have Trey in there, a great veteran that can help this kid grow, because you have a veteran like that, he's just going to teach the kid the ropes. And Julio Jones to the San Francisco 49ers would be absolute money. And again, because he knows Kyle's system, he's not going to have to come in and get 1,000 yards. Like some of these teams, you might actually have to play harder. The injuries would kind of mount up because he did have that season last year marred by injury. And, at 32, he wants to go win a championship. He doesn't want to have to go out there and play, get 1,000 yards, 100 catches. That's not what Julio wants anymore.
Right.
He wants to go in, compete for a championship, give you 700 yards, I'll give you 8 touchdowns, I'll give you 70 catches, a fraction of what I used to do. Still come in, give your other receivers more opportunities. I think it would be a home run hit. I know there's things that they'd have to do salary cap wise. They'd have to give up something. We don't have any first rounders, so it'd probably be like a second, maybe a third.
Yeah, you could rock with a second. I think that's the general. I think that's the general thing, that he's not going to get a first because the contract is just awful. Like even if you throw in. Even if he was wide receiver 1, it's an ugly contract. So like there is that. So no matter how good he is, the contract is still going to be worse than the player, and that's kind of scary to think about. But yeah, if you're right, if he comes in and you say, give me 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, and you're going to win a Super Bowl, I think any team signs up for that. Absolutely, and that would be scary. I know Baltimore's like favored in the odds right now, which I don't understand. I don't think Baltimore's going to go after wide receiver, but I would be Hollywood Brown has 15 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. Just think about how many touchdowns Julio Jones would score, because we're in the red zone all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big target. That'd be money for you. I think that'd be a home run move for
it would be
any of the big teams that want him. I think would be a great move for them. Baltimore, the Colts, put him over the top. And again, I think Atlanta, it's a salary dump move for them, because you're right, the contract's terrible. He's 32. At some point, you got to get something out of him. They just drafted Kyle Pitts. They have Calvin Ridley, who's top 5 receiver in the league now.
I love
Kyle Pitts, who's going to be unbelievable. So they have formidable offense. Mike Davis, our running back. So they have a good team. In their mind, they're kind of like a win-now team. So I feel like if they don't trade him, it's because they don't get the value that they're wanting. And they're saying, hey, look, we can still win. We still have Julio. We have Ridley. We have Pitts. That's a dangerous offense. With Matt Ryan, they didn't draft a rookie quarterback. So they still want to go all chips on the table and then try to win him. But if they get something enticing, they got to make the move because he's 32 and that salary, it's about the salary. Like you said, that contract is god awful.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But I mean, he's Julio. So of course he's going to get paid what he deserved. But now it's like you're looking at from the Falcons standpoint, the GM's like, his contract's killing us. He's 32, coming off an injury-plagued season. Do we want to keep him here or not? We just drafted Kyle Pitts. He's the future. But I mean, he's a fan favorite. Fans would be pissed if they traded Julio because he's probably, when I think of the Atlanta Falcons, when I see that logo, the first player that comes to mind is Julio Jones, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm from Atlanta, and I would imagine most people here echo the same sentiment. It's either Vic or Julio.
Oh yeah, I'm more recent bias. Julio. If I think overall, I'd throw Vic in that conversation. Probably who did the Dirty Bird? Who was that running back you guys had?
Gerald Anderson.
Yeah, Jamal Anderson. I remember.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was good. He
did the little Dirty Bird, and then we beat him in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Chat. And Frank Gore did that, and he did the little. But I remember that because they were a pretty big, intense rival for the Niners back then because they used to be in the same division actually.
Yeah, and NFC West.
Yeah, the old school NFC West. The Falcons, the Niners. It was weird.
Yeah, it's like Atlanta in the or they were in the Braves were the NL West for a long time, and then the Falcons were in the NFC West. Like that doesn't make any geographical sense. And the NFL's like
weird, man. It was so weird. It was so weird. I remember that. But yeah, he was. I remember that Jamal Adams, Dirty Bird. Yeah, and Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Prime time.
Yeah. Oh man, love me some prime time. So I'm gonna touch on this comment from Frankie for a second. If you want to hear my Julio to Baltimore thoughts, tune into the Sports Desk episode 19. It's literally in the title. Splash doesn't want Julio. It boils down to the contract and not thinking the Ravens would actually make the move. So if you want my thoughts on Julio to Baltimore, check out the show from yesterday. But I'm going to ask you one more question before we wrap up the Julio segment. How would you feel if you're looking at, let's hypothetically, Julio to the 49ers? Do you think at that point the 49ers would have had all 4 Mount Rushmore wide receivers on their team at one point?
That actually would be a crazy, crazy thought. And yeah, you're right, because so imagine you have Jerry Rice to go, Randy Moss, they had Terrell Owens, and now Julio Jones. That's crazy. Although I would argue you could put Larry Fitzgerald in there. You could put Megatron in there. It's tough because those 2 guys are 2 hell of receivers in the league. You can argue for Julio Jones being top 4. I mean, I don't know if I want to claim him top 4. He's definitely one of the top receivers I've ever seen. But that's 4 potential receivers in the Mount Rushmore. I'd say at least T.O., Randy Moss, and Jerry Rice for sure.
Right.
In that Mount Rushmore. But I mean, it's hard to argue Megatron. It's hard to argue Larry Fitzgerald. There's some damn good receiver. Julio Jones is close up there, man. But I don't know if I have him over Megatron. That's tough. That's a good question. I have one more question actually in the chat before we move on. 49ers Media, he says, Colts make sense. They could still use another weapon. I said this yesterday on my live show with Smitty and them on the Quad Box that I feel like the Colts probably make the most sense. They have probably the best option. They have a lot of, spending money. They have assets to trade for, and also I don't know if the Falcons would want to trade him in the NFC. They want to get him out, go to the AFC. So I think the Colts do make the most sense. So that's a good comment.
I do think I would say that they haven't been a team that like spends a lot or makes these big trades, but they did trade their first round pick for DeForest Buckner last year, and they did trade for Wentz this season. I guess thinking about the Julio trade, are you trading a first for him? Because you're losing. You don't have right now. The Colts don't technically have their first or second round pick because they traded a conditional second to Philly. So for all they know, they could try to trade a second round pick with the intention that Wentz plays the entire season, but Wentz could tear his ACL week 1. I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't. He's awesome. But he could miss the snap criteria, and then you lose your second round pick. Or you could say, oh, well, we're going to trade the 32nd pick because we don't trust Wentz. Well, then all of a sudden you have to use the first round pick for Wentz. So I don't know how that would work. Maybe that's a third round pick in 2022 and Paris Campbell or Michael Pittman.
But I think
that'd be interesting.
I don't think they trade Pittman. He's a good.
Yeah, well, Pittman's a beast.
But I think that maybe a conditional pick that, like you said, the conditional picks can come into play. But then you have to look at it from the Falcons' perspective and say, do we want to take a player that's a conditional when somebody else might give us a player or a trade like a draft pick that's not conditional, and we know what we're going to get, because you don't want to have to wait like 14 games. Like, it could be a third, it could be a second. I don't know, but I just think the Colts make sense in the standpoint of you get rid of them from the NFC. You don't want to move them to the NFC. So the Niners may not get them for the fact that, hey, we don't want to trade them to the NFC and have to play against them. And that's why another team that's kind of popping up today, like we talked about at the beginning, is New England. He says there's some interest there. He's in the AFC. Send him to New England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wants to play with Cam. They train together in the offseason. So
let's see.
Falcons right up there. Do the right thing. Probably don't trade Julio Jones. I know you want to, but you can win now with Julio Jones.
I think they can. I think they should keep him. Or unless the only way they don't keep him is if they want to call Kyle Shanahan and say, hey, Kyle, you want your boy back in San Francisco? Let's have a reunion. Run it back with your boy. You got Julio and you have Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah.
I mean, so you know.
Yeah, quarterback one, Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, and Alex Mack. I mean, you kind of got the Atlanta.
You have the 2016 Falcons. Can you actually win the Super Bowl, though?
Oh, man. Don't listen. 28-3. God.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. On that note, let's head over to the schedule. We touched on it a little bit last week, but we're going to do a little quick, if I can pull it up, NFL playoff predictor. We're going to do a little run through San Francisco's schedule. We did Alex's, I guess that's how you say it, Alex's on the Packers show Wednesday. I think they ended up going 15-2 or something ridiculous.
15-2, and I'm like, man, I love it. Niners are going to Super Bowl though, regardless. They can go 15-2.
Oh man, actually, I think I still have it
back in Levi's Stadium. They're not. That's going to be one of the last for sure. I'm going to lose my voice that day. That's all I know.
Wow, Frankie's coming after me in the comments. Splash, your take on wide receivers needs work, my dude. Your takes on NBA, just in general, needs work. Let Raj do the wide receiver talk. Wow, my boss is coming after me.
All good, man.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. All right, so we're gonna pull up the playoff predicting. Boom, boom, boom. Let me make it full screen. This website is kind of janky.
Which website are we using?
The playoffpredictors.com.
I haven't used it. I'll remember
that. Where? Okay, there we are. Yeah, I love this website. It's honestly like we're not sponsored by Playoff Predictors, but I would absolutely do it. Oh, okay. I had the Packers going maybe 15-2, 14. I think he had them losing to Baltimore week 15 because he didn't have a loss other than Kansas City. So it was 15-2, and the only reason he had.
He's in for a rude awakening. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna mop the floor.
Oh my goodness, this is so slow. Yeah,
he's gonna leave. Oh man, he's gonna be rethinking his life after week 3. I'm telling you. A healthy Nick Bosa.
Wow.
Healthy Nick Bosa coming for Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God.
Okay, big words from Raj. We might have to do actually during the season we might have to do a collab between you and Alex.
I'm gonna tell it like it is. We're gonna have to have a battle, man, because Niners are coming for blood that game. Like I said, this is the first game in Levi Stadium in 2 years.
Oh man!
The last time we played a game there was Green Bay. Y'all remember?
You slapped him. Was it 37 to 37-7, 38-7?
Raheem Mostert gave birth to them.
Okay, when we eventually get like an intro, Raheem Mostert gave birth to them will be a clip in the intro.
Yeah, that he did. He gave birth to him that night.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, what's 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's the only game in playoff history. Wow. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready?
Let me
All right.
zoom in here. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Week
zoom in.
1.
Oh, we got easy dub for San Francisco. Jimmy probably, if he starts, he'll get benched in the third. They put Trey Lance in the fourth. They're both gonna throw like 3 touchdowns. Niners win that game.
Wow.
Easy
Okay.
dub.
Okay. Heading to Philly.
Okay. I mean, the hostile crowd.
It was a fun game last year. Was the
Sunday night?
Sunday night in Santa Clara?
Fun game if you're an Eagles fan. It was not a fun game for us. We had a lot of the cornerbacks hurt.
Oh,
Brian
Nick Mullins played, right?
Nick Mullins, it was a bad game. Carson Wentz gave Dante Johnson the hands. That was rough. We're coming back. It's going to be a revenge for us. Brandon Ayuk did have the hurdle, though.
Yeah, that was a beautiful touchdown.
He became well-known for that play. This season, Brandon Ayuk's going to have 2 touchdowns this night. They're gonna smoke Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
Welcome to the NFL, bad boy, because Nick Bosa's coming. It's 2-0 Niners. We're winning that game.
Okay, I know. Okay, so on the Nick Mullins thing for a second, who's the worst quarterback you've seen quarterback the Niners?
Oh man, Brian Hoyer was awful. I've seen some bad quarterbacks. I mean, there's some bad ones. I've seen some other ones back in the day, but Brian Hoyer was just so bad. Blaine Gabbert, Blaine had his moments. The Chicago game was legendary, but I think Brian Hoyer, man.
And who's the best quarterback you've seen play?
Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, non-Hall of Famer, best quarterback you've seen play?
Jeff Garcia.
Ooh, I love me some Jeff Garcia. Although I was on his train when he was in Tampa, not San Francisco, but
super underrated player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it.
Last Pro Bowl quarterback we had.
Wow. And Kaepernick was really good for a little while.
He's good. I like Cap though. I didn't hate him. I liked him.
I saw a Kaepernick jersey in the supermarket yesterday, and I live in rural Georgia, and I saw a Kaepernick jersey. It's like,
that's so random.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Speaking of Kaepernick, one of the teams that he massacred, Green Bay.
He used to shred these guys. The bicep kiss, Kaepernicking worldwide. I'll tell you what, we're going to dominate. Home opener. I'm going to be the home opener against Green Bay. Niners are dominating this game. The Green Bay gets to meet their father. They haven't seen him. He went out for milk, and he's coming back to say hello. Niners are winning this game.
Oh, my goodness. Seattle, San Francisco, one of the best rivalries in the NFL. It seems like you always split.
We do. I think we'll win the home game. We're playing in San Francisco. Crowd's going to be raucous coming off of, a dominating win over Green Bay. I say we win this game.
All right. 4-0 start. All right. Niners head back to their former home in Glendale.
I think we're split with Arizona, and I think they're going to win their home game.
Mm-hmm.
This might be we're going to go into the bye week with the loss, kind of, lick our wounds and regroup coming in with the loss. So,
all right, then
this
you
is a tough game. I think
DeForest Buckner returns.
This is going to be the most bittersweet game of the season. You got DeForest Buckner coming back to San Francisco, the team that traded him, the team that drafted him. It's going to be tough. I think we can win this game, but I feel like we're going to lose it for some reason. I mean, I got to put some losses on the board.
Right, of course.
We're going to lose it.
Okay, so before we get into Niners Bears, do you think it'll be Trey Lance versus Justin Fields?
I mean, everybody wants it to be. I hope it is. I say a 60% chance I think it's going to be, but I still think it's not guaranteed. But if it's Trey Lance and Justin Fields, this is going to be one of the funnest games all season, the most talked about games all season, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Niners are going to rebound after 2 losses, and they're going to win this game.
All right, and then you welcome Arizona to your actual home.
They're going to come they're going to come to San Francisco, and we're going to say, hey, thanks for the hospitality last season, but guess what? We need to get back on track. We're going to beat them. And then the Rams, the first of a sweep. We're going to dominate the Rams. We swept them last season. We had Nick Mullins as one of our quarterbacks in the game. We beat them.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel owns these guys. We're going to beat them again.
All right. 7-2 start, heading to Jacksonville. Can Trevor Lawrence knock off San Francisco?
No, he's not, and we're going to beat them. Their current GM is our former GM, and I think this is going to be so much fun to beat Trent Baalke because he obliterated our team, and I'm going to have so much fun watching him see us beat him. Oh, I cannot wait for that.
Okay, so Minnesota San Francisco is perhaps my favorite game on your entire schedule.
Yeah.
Because I made a post on U Stadium a couple days ago that I think Minnesota is going to have the best run game in the NFL. Like San Francisco, for example, has an awesome scheme, great blocking, but they don't have like a super duper star running back. Minnesota does have all three. And if you look at other teams, Tennessee doesn't have a great line and they don't have a great scheme. Baltimore doesn't have a great line. But Minnesota has Dalvin Cook, a great run blocking line, and one of the best, like a top 3 scheme with San Francisco and Baltimore. So I love Minnesota this season, and this is going to be like, I think punch you in the mouth. Whoever blinks first loses, and this is an awesome game for me.
This is going to be a tough game, man. And Minnesota's good. I think they're going to be a team on the rise this season. You know, they struggled they didn't make the playoffs last year, but the year before, you know, we played them and whooped them in the playoffs. I think they're going to get back to being a really good team this year.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, our defensive line is much improved this year. We got Nick Bosa, and what we did to quarterbacks that are now mobile in 2019 was just scary, and I think we're going to do that again. I think that's the reason we're going to win this game. Kirk Cousins is not going to be able to stand in the pocket and pick us apart. We're going to come for his neck, and I think that we're going to, because of that defensive line, we're going to win this game. And I think they'll put up a fight because they do have Justin Jefferson. We didn't play him before, but we did play Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. Going to be a tough matchup. Say the Niners gut it out. And it's, again, we got the home field advantage. So I think we win this game. And we move on to Seattle, which is going to be a tough division game.
Yeah, always.
And again, I said we split Seattle. They're in Seattle this time, Emerald City. We're going to lose this game. It's going to be Russell Wilson rebound. That's what it is.
All right, we have a Super Bowl rematch here. Niners, Bengals.
You know what? The Bengals actually are a sneaky good team this season, I feel. I think they're going to be a sleeper team. I don't know if they're going to win a lot, but I think they're going to be competitive. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow coming back as long as he's healthy.
Right.
You know, they have an improved on team. They got a young team on the rise. I think they'll make a lot of games competitive. Whether they close out games and win, that's to be determined. But I think this could be a trap game. The Niners might. This is going to be a lot closer than I think people want it to be, and I think it'll be a tough victory. And again, we're traveling a lot here, so you got to remember now.
Yeah, East Coast game, no fun there.
Yeah, this is the part you go to. So you went from Seattle all the way to, you know, Cincinnati, and then the next week coming back to San Francisco to play Atlanta. So we're going to be tired. We had an early bye, so that could kind of play into factor. But I think the Niners win this game.
Yeah, that week 6 bye is brutal. You have to play 12 straight weeks to end the season. And then if you think moving forward into the playoffs, if you want to win the Super Bowl, there's a chance you have to play 16 straight weeks, or 16 out of 17 if you have that Pro Bowl week.
Crazy. And then we go back to San Francisco. We play Julio Jones and the Atlanta Falcons, unless the 49ers go Julio Jones. So it could possibly be a Julio James versus his former team. If they move make the move, but I ultimately think it's going to be, Julio staying in Atlanta. Or the reports are coming out. My phone's going crazy that the Patriots are making moves to get Julio Jones. But I think the Niners will beat Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree there. So 11-3, heading to Nashville. Thursday night football.
It's a tough game, man. Thursday night. I hate Thursday night games. Again, we've traveled a lot. Week 6 bye. I think we're going to be a little tired. I can see this game being a loss for the Niners. Henry's going to just be, running down our throats. I think we can beat them, but this seems like all the makings for a loss. A Thursday night on the road, short rest after the tough games we've had. I feel like this is a game we're going to lose, and that's our 4th loss.
Yeah, that's one. I think San Francisco is the better team, but Tennessee has a lot of things working in their favor. Yeah. Home game. The other team has to make a cross-country flight. So I believe it's Central Time Zone in Nashville, but it's still a cross-country flight. And
it's tough.
You have to stop Derrick Henry. So here's your 3-day rest, and now go stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, granted, they have to stop your running game, and I don't trust Tennessee's defense. So that might be a game like the Minnesota-San Francisco game that is just run. Yeah. You have 400, 500 total yards rushing.
It'll be a hit you in the mouth type game, but I feel ultimately the Niners are going to lose this game. I just have a feeling. Thursday night games, I do not like Thursday night games for us.
All right.
Oh, real quick, before we move on to the Texans game, I forgot to mention that Chicago 49ers game, that's a Halloween game.
Ooh.
So that's going to make that game even more intriguing. Spooky. So much more, more creepy, spooky vibes. I'm going to tell you this. if it's Justin Fields and Trey Lance on Halloween, oh man, that's gonna be so.
That's game of the year mentality.
Yeah, I'm
there.
telling you, man. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Houston.
Right.
Well, I don't even know if Deshaun Watson is going to make it onto that team this year. Who knows what's going to happen? Regardless, whoever's playing for them at quarterback, they're about to get destroyed by the 49ers, manhandled. We might drop 50 points on them.
Wow. Okay. And then at the Rams, you said you're going to sweep them.
We're going to sweep them, baby.
Ooh,
dominate
boy.
those guys. So that's what, 13-4. That's my final record prediction for the Niners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Stay healthy. Not bad, right? Not bad.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I had them. I forget what I had them. I had them double-digit wins. I think I had them splitting with the Rams. So like 11 or 12 wins sounds good to me. Maybe I think I took them over Green Bay. I don't remember, but yeah, I think 11 or 12 wins sounds good to me, and 13 sounds good for Niners fans. So
well, we'll see. As far as Julio Jones, the news going out right now is that he's had the Falcons have had internal discussions with the New England Patriots about a trade. So, like I said earlier, to start the show, sources were saying that Julio wants to go link up with Cam, and now the more reports are coming out that there have been some talk. So I think Julio is destined to be a Patriot. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. I got to call my buddy and call my Pats friend and talk to him about that.
If the Patriots get him, their offseason has been just
that's legendary.
Crazy, yeah, legendary. Like the Niners have had a hell of an offseason, but the Patriots go Julio Jones. I'm gonna tell you, they probably had the best offseason. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. Julio Jones, Cam Newton, Kendrick Bourne, my boy, Nelson Aguilar, the two tight ends they got, you know,
and they improved the offensive line too. They got they bring Trent Brown, or they bring Trent Brown back. Everyone's gonna be healthy. You know, you're bringing back the opt outs, so Dante Hightower.
It's gonna be a good team, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. I mean, if anybody gets Julio, I guess Patriots are okay because they wouldn't be in the NFC, but I'd be pissed. Right. Bill Belichick, this man is
That's
just
scary.
building his super team back again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because they went all in 2018, or I guess 2016 and 2018. They went all in. They pushed all their chips to the table. They went to 2 Super Bowl, or they went to 3, 1, 2, and then they had to regress a little bit. 2019 they weren't that good. 2020 they weren't that good. Now you're on the rise again, and I think Cam can win games in the NFL. I know he has deficiencies throwing the football, but it sometimes doesn't matter. You know, like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have won 25-7, and if you count the 2 RG3 games, they're 24-6 in the last 2 years with Lamar Jackson.
And as far as Cam, like, okay, I'm not the biggest Cam. I don't think he's the greatest anymore. He was a good quarterback for a stretch of years.
Right.
You know, the injuries came up. He's getting older. He's past his prime. Still good. Still can win. They didn't have anybody on that offense last season. That offense was horrible. I'll be honest. Now, the offense they have now compared to last season, it's pretty good on paper. So I think he has a better team to work with. You give a quarterback with the talent that Cam Newton has, and I think that they can win a lot of games. And again, the biggest thing is, like you said, they've had a lot of players that opted out last season come back, especially on defense. Yep. Defense is going to be much better. Dante Hightower was a huge loss for them last season. I think this is going to be a big return for them. Fresh legs, defense is back.
Yes, sir.
I think they're going to challenge for that AFC East title, but I'm not counting out the Bills. They're going to win that.
Anyway.
Yeah,
and I guess the thing with Buffalo is that if they fall at all, like as good as Allen was, and he was awesome. Don't get me wrong, he was spectacular. But if he doesn't replicate that, the Bills aren't going to go 13-3 or 13-4, 14-3. If he does, so be it. But I don't love their defense. I know they brought back Milano, and I know they added like 3 different edge rushers in the draft. I get it, but I don't love the defense. But you're anticipating Josh Allen will play at an MVP level again, and he's done it for 1 year. You know, if it was Mahomes, that's different. If it was Rodgers, that's different. Mahomes and you will say they're going to be MVP candidates this season. Even Russell Wilson, even Deshaun Watson plays, they're all going to be MVP candidates. With Josh Allen, you don't really know. And I don't want to be like a downer on Josh Allen because I love Allen and he's an awesome player. But I need to see a second year. I needed to see a second year out of Lamar last year. I needed to see a second year out of Baker after his rookie season. He failed. You need to see a second year out of these guys before you say, oh, they are 100% like God's gift to earth.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Julio news. But you know, I was gonna drop a jersey swap of the Niners, but I'm gonna have to hold back on that.
Yeah, I was looking
Anyways,
for one.
I have to head out. Got some
right.
things we got to do. But yeah, it was a good show. Next Saturday, maybe we'll be talking about Julio Jones. Who knows?
Yeah, Julio Jones. I hope he stays in Atlanta.
I hope he doesn't go. I hope he goes to the 49ers. If he doesn't, I hope he stays in Atlanta. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm, I don't know. I talked about it on the show yesterday that I don't. If I'm playing Madden, I'd love to have Julio Jones. But if I'm playing real life NFL football, Julio Jones is an awesome receiver. Don't get me wrong. Number 4, number 5 in the NFL right now for me. But I don't know if I really want him on the Ravens with the cap situation.
Yeah, the money's tough, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we talked to Rap on the show a couple days ago. Like Steven Nelson, a solid corner, isn't getting signed because there's no money. There's a variety of guys around the league that aren't getting signed because there's no money. And I don't think a team like Baltimore that's already not in the greatest of cap situations, I don't think they're going to say, oh, yeah, let's bring on Julio Jones and eat all this money.
Let's see his cap spaces, unless he wants to restructure. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Real quick, before I head out, did Rappaport say anything about Richard Sherman? Did he mention anything?
It was one of the money is dry in a lot of places. So
I figured.
Yeah. So it's like if someone like dies in camp, you're gonna pick up Sherman or Steven Nelson. Like that sort of deal.
Okay. All right, my man.
Absolutely. So great show. Make sure you follow Raj at OurSF 49ers on Instagram. Follow the U Stadium app on Twitter at U Stadium and Instagram also at U Stadium. Join the app if you haven't already. I don't know how you're watching the show if you haven't joined the app. But that'll wrap us up for today, and we'll be back next Saturday. Hopefully we have some Julio Jones news to talk about.
Hopefully. We'll see.
So awesome to have you on per usual, and peace out, folks.